You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. All right, this is something. This is hilarious, okay? Jeffrey Toobin tried to explain his incident that happened to him on that Zoom meeting that got him, well, not fired from CNN. He's still around in media. I don't quite understand this. He was on CNN for quite some time after this event happened. They welcomed him back, and now he's over on News Nation. And he was interviewed by Dan Abrams. And if you don't know what happened with Jeffrey Toobin, I'm going to give you the G-rated version here in the beginning. You know, back in the era of shutdowns and lockdowns, when everybody was doing business over Zoom, he was in a meeting on Zoom and was doing some things inappropriate to himself on the Zoom. He didn't know his camera was on, and his attention, I believe, if I remember correctly, was focused on a woman who was in the meeting on Zoom as well. So he got fired from his job for it, but CNN, they suspended him and brought him back. And then with all the changes at CNN recently, he's moved on. So now here he is over on News Nation with Abrams. And you guys remember Dan Abrams. He used to be on MSNBC. This guy's a big liberal, guy. And he interviews Jeffrey Toobin, who explains the incident. And it's
oh my goodness gracious.
It's awkward.
Does this really need to be explained?
Oh, yeah, this has to be heard. This has to be heard, and let's just show this. So you heard Dan Abrams in the beginning, then he brings in Toobin. This is hilarious. I love it. This couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Back now with Jeffrey Toobin, whose new book, Homegrown, Timothy McVeigh and the Rise of Right-Wing Extremism.
Brother.
Now, this is why I'm sharing this, okay? They're bringing this guy on to judge conservatives.
You can't make this up.
And notice how he compares us to McVeigh, of course, who brought down the Oklahoma City Governmental Center. So we have this guy that does what he did to himself during a Zoom meeting, right, and with a group of people, women included, and he's passing judgment on conservatives.
Yeah, that's how liberals are.
Yeah, exactly.
Back now with Jeffrey Toobin, whose new book, Homegrown, Timothy McVeigh and the Rise of Right-Wing Extremism is out now and getting excellent reviews. But let's talk now about your exit from CNN and what's going on in your life since then. After, of course, this is the incident that occurred in 2020, Zoom, masturbation, now former colleagues at The New Yorker were involved, among others.
This is just beautiful. I mean, every time he goes on TV, he has to rehash this thing.
Oh, my God.
Subsequently fired from the magazine. You left CNN. What's life been like for Jeffrey Toobin?
Well, let's talk about the incident itself.
Yeah.
It was a disaster in my life, self-inflicted, self-destructive, and something that I will regret for the rest of my life. I have no excuses. I have only apologies, which I have tried to offer to everyone involved, including very much my family, which was terribly embarrassed by it. But it's now more than 2.5 years ago, and a lot has happened.
Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, another reason I'm sharing this with you. He took a break from CNN, and they brought him back after the incident, okay? Now he's gone, and he's over at News Nation right now doing this interview with Dan Abrams. And I imagine he's going to have a role over there, okay? This guy did what he pleasured himself on the Zoom meeting with this New Yorker meeting with women there. And they take Tucker off the air and are making all these judgments about Tucker Carlson.
I know.
If Tucker Carlson had done this in a Zoom meeting, I say, okay, take the guy off the air. But this guy Toobin, what he did,
they're upset over a few texts.
Yeah, exactly.
Private text messages
this guy was
totally benign.
This guy was masturbating to people in a Zoom meeting, in a professional meeting, and he had no idea they could see him.
Incredible.
almost all good since
Maybe he
then.
did, honey.
And I feel like my life is in a very good
Maybe
place.
he
actually.
did know.
And what exactly happened? Was it you just left open the screen?
I'd rather not go into the grisly details.
Yeah,
the only thing I'll say about it is I didn't know other people were on the Zoom call.
Oh, crap.
I agree with you, Kathy. He may just be a flasher.
They were there.
He may just be a flasher.
When you're on Zoom.
He thought he muted himself and had his camera off.
You see people there. You see them there.
Yeah.
I've been in Zoom. I've taken Zoom art lessons, and you see the other people there. You can see whether you're muted, whether your camera's off. It's all there to let you know. I think he knew they could see him.
I think you're probably right.
This was
a
not
flasher,
an intentional act on my part. Other than that, I'd rather.
Wait, did he just? Let me rewind it. Hold on. So, did he say it was an unintentional? How do you unintentionally masturbate on a Zoom? Hold. Let me go back. There's no way he said that. Let me rewind.
I didn't know other people were on the Zoom call. Were watching. This was not an intentional act on.
Oh my! Unintentional masturbation. I've never heard of such a thing.
That's a new one.
My part.
My God.
Other than that, I'd rather not go into the details. But I mean, that to me, for some that is important to get out there.
And I'll be honest, I don't really want to go into the details.
You know what? Then
Yeah, but we do.
agree.
So after the incident, you went on CNN and you talked about therapy and public service, et cetera. Has that happened?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be a better person, and I'm still working on that. I mentioned just sort of in passing that I work at a food bank every week, which I continue to do.
Oh yeah, that's just what I want to do is consume food that was given to me by a man who did this.
Yeah, I wouldn't take food from this guy. Gross.
Let me ask you guys.
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh at this.
I hope it's not a buffet. I hope it's like packaged food.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yuck.
And how could you trust him not to do this before he's handing out food?
Yeah, in the back room. He's clearly got a problem.
Is what he did, because what he did was public, because it was on a Zoom meeting. Does that make him like a sex offender?
Maybe working in the food bank is part of his probation or part of his 12 steps or.
Oh, no. I don't know.
Well, I think he had to go to therapy for a sex addiction. That was probably part of him coming back on CNN. And that's probably part of the therapy is to do something charitable.
And also, I've moved my life in a different direction. I'm not. This was not connected to the Zoom incident. I mean, I was very fortunate that CNN brought me back, and I worked at CNN for over a year after being brought back.
Did they fire you then?
No. I was not fired by CNN. No.
Now, could you imagine if Hannity or Tucker had pleasured themselves in a Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
Do you think they'd be on the air?
Bill O'Reilly just made an off-color comment.
Hot chocolate.
And they fired him over it. And this guy's, doing God knows.
And not only that, not only did CNN let him back on, now we got News Nation who's trying to rehab his reputation.
That was a mutual decision that I left last August, where we've been in the similar business for a long time. I'd done 20 years of live shots. I was ready to do something else. In fairness, I should point out that it was a new management that was less fond of me than the old management.
The old management is fond of people that do these things?
He is just rambling.
Can't say they were brokenhearted to see me go, but I got a package to go, and I'm back to being a writer, which is how I started this whole thing. And
what a lunatic.
Writing Homegrown, doing magazine work. I got a bunch of Hollywood projects in the works, including a limited series based on Homegrown.
Comparing conservatives to Tim McVeigh, you
understand what he's doing to get back into the fold.
Yeah,
he's written a book that these liberal media outlets will want to talk about, and one that Hollywood will want to produce.
He's feeding the beast.
He's feeding the beast. He's talking about a topic that's getting them excited, so they'll bring him back into the fold.
Excited as he was on the Zoom meeting.
I guess so.
Yeah. Tim McVeigh and right-wing extremism.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing about Toobin here, and the reason I'm playing this is what I said at the beginning. The reason I'm sharing this with you about Jeffrey Toobin is because of what happened with Tucker. If this thing had not happened with Tucker, we might mention this today and play 1 second of it. But I want to tell you right now, we're a week and a half since they took Tucker off of television. The entire corporate media, MSNBC, CNN, they've spent the last 10 days judging Tucker as this terrible person. Those same people have been rehabbing Jeffrey Toobin for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't understand Jeffrey Toobin's importance to these people.
I don't either. I was thinking that too.
He's an attorney.
What does he have over them?
And he wrote a book that was made into a very good miniseries we watched about the O.J. Simpson trial. And
he wrote that.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
But he's not Orson Welles. He's not Spielberg. He's not Johnny Cochran or F. Lee Bailey. I don't understand why these liberals in the media, out of all of the legal minds and writers that they just have to have on their air, they have to have this guy.
I don't get it either.
Like Tucker Carlson had the highest rated show in the history of cable news, which is amazing. That's higher than Larry King, and Larry King had no competition, so that's amazing. And he did some major investigative journalism. That's why they got rid of him, was he was reporting too much truth. Jeffrey Toobin is just a mediocre guy that you bring on to kill a few minutes on the air. You're right about this book, okay? The way for him to get back is to give them what they want.
Right.
MAGA are terrorists.
Right.
So that'll get him on all the shows and everything. But I'm sorry. I'm not going to let this go with Jeffrey Toobin, and no one else should. What they've done to Tucker Carlson is unforgivable. I also want to tell you, next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, Trump has a rally in Des Moines, Iowa. We don't know what Fox
DeSantis is going to be there too, apparently. The same week.
Iowa's where they start. We don't know what Fox plans on doing yet. They have not been carrying Trump rallies for years. But if they get more and more desperate to try to bring viewers back, they very well may air the Trump rally on Fox News.
That would be incredible.
I don't expect them to, but they could, because the exodus is growing and growing of viewers, okay? And I've been telling you, they're going to pull stunts to try to lure you back. The Fox Nation app carries the rallies. They have carried the rallies on the Fox Nation app, but not on the channel. Okay?
You know who's filling in for Tucker next week?
Who's that?
Kayleigh McEnany.
Wow. She's not. That's not her thing.
No, but they're going to put they're going to put somebody in every week for a while, and the person who happens to be there when the ratings, if they start to go back up, the person who happens to be there when the ratings start to swing back, if that ever happens, will be the one to get the job.
There's only one person.
It's all in the timing.
Okay, there's only one person other than Tucker, that they could hire to get people back to Fox News in that time slot. And I'm serious about this. Don Jr. Don Jr.'s show was spectacular.
That would be amazing.
If any of you watch Don Jr.'s show,
happen.
I love Don Jr.'s show.
Yeah. The biggest mistake Fox made was hiring Paul Ryan.
Don Jr.
He's destroyed that network.
Don Jr. Said just yesterday, he hasn't been on Fox in about 9 months. He used to be on 4 or 5 times a week, and he has friends at Fox that are still there currently who are telling him that management is fuming at Don Jr. because he's been calling them out on Tucker. If they brought back Don Jr. over there to take over, they brought him over to host that show to give him Tucker's old time slot, that might get us back.
It would. I would watch that.
But because his show's good. I love Don Jr.'s show. But short of Don Jr., it ain't going to happen. No. And Tucker's not coming back. We know that. And
that's not happening.
The people they're putting in, they've had Lawrence Jones, now McEnany. McEnany's very good as the press secretary, but carrying a whole show, she doesn't have the weight or the personality to do it. They're also talking about Jesse Waters, which is awful.
I can't stand him. He is so immature and arrogant. I just don't get it.
I'm going to stand by what I said earlier this week. Fox News doing what they did to Tucker Carlson is the beginning of the end of the relevancy of cable news.
Yeah.
Cable news just signed away their relevancy. They are going to fade away, and they're going to fade away quickly. You know, the new media is taking over, and that's just the way of it. And you guys know that.
I read that he might try to get out of his contract and walk away from millions of dollars in order to start his own
Tucker?
thing. Yeah, and what he wants to do is host his own debates. That host the presidential debates.
They don't have to let him do that.
No, he would host him himself.
No. What I mean is Fox does not have to let him out of the contract.
No, they don't have to, but I'm sure he has good lawyers, and he's going to, this is what I read, that one option he has is to get out of his contract and walk away from the money left. And he's got plenty of money, just so he can be involved in the next election cycle and get something started, because now's a good time to start something.
They don't want him to start
Now's a good time to do that because the election cycle's kicking up. So I read that he's thinking about hosting his own debates and getting out of his contract and not taking the rest of the money so he can start something new.
That sounds fine.
I don't think he's going to retire and just sit around and do nothing.
That sounds fine and dandy, but Fox does not want him to be able to do that.
We'll see.
Fox, what they're trying to do is prolong this to keep him away from his audience for as long as possible. And they think that if they do that, it'll keep him from his audience. You know, I saw something like this happen in local radio. Those of you that are longtime South Florida radio listeners will understand this. If you're not, you won't even know who I'm talking about. But Neil Rogers, who was one of the biggest stars in the history of South Florida radio, he had a very big contract, and he had a falling out, and he was had a non-compete.
Yeah,
that was one of those 2-year kind of non-competes. He was off the, and he had a very bitter experience with the company he was leaving. And they thought that they were going to disconnect him from his audience. And he came back a year and a half, 2 years later, bigger than ever. So, you know, the audience, there are certain people. I'm this way. Tucker is this way. Neil Rogers was this way. Steve Kane's this way. We have an appreciation for our audience. You know, you guys make our shows possible. Your support is what makes us relevant and everything else. And, you know, and a lot of people take the audience for granted. Fox News, for example, thinks we're stupid. Fox News thinks that we're stupid and that they can abuse us and use us, and we're going to go back because it happened before. The only reason people went back is they went back for 2 reasons. One of them was Tucker, and frankly, Newsmax kind of dropped the ball. Newsmax had this good run-up, and it kind of faded. Newsmax is making some major changes. They're putting a new show on at 9 o'clock. It's going to be a panel show.
I think Mercedes Schlapp is going to be on that because she was on with Pellegrino last night.
Okay, Pellegrino's going to be on it.
That'll be good. I've been talking about them doing a panel show for a while.
They're going to do a show kind of like The 5 at 9 o'clock at night on Newsmax.
That's great.
I saw on the weekends on Newsmax, they have a lot of very scattered programming, and a lot of it's infomercial-ish.
Yeah.
They're doing some regular program. Like, for example, this may not seem like a big deal, but it's a transition. Newsmax is carrying the coronation of
it's a great idea.
Charles over the weekend, which is like at 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that on Newsmax.
So Newsmax is starting to put real programming on that's relevant on the weekends. And Fox is weak on the weekends anyway. So Newsmax, the first time there was an exodus to Newsmax got excited, but they made some mistakes with their program. They made some minor changes.
I'm telling you, I think they heard you talk about that because you had talked about a couple months ago how they should start rerunning things on the weekend and start programming the weekends better because Fox was weak that time. And I swear, right after they started doing it.
Well,
they started rerunning Greg Kelly. They started programming new shows.
Newsmax corporate office is down the street from our house.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think they got the idea from you.
Yeah, so they do. The corporate people at Newsmax do listen to me on the radio, and some of them have listened to me and Steve for many, many years on the radio. They're located in Boca Raton, Florida.
I'm telling you, you talked about that, and within a week they started doing it. That cannot be a coincidence. And you had said to me, I wonder if they heard me say it because I said, yeah, I think so because you talked about that exact thing. You said they should rerun Greg Kelly, Rob Schmidt on the weekends. They weren't doing it, and they should do programming, and now they are. And they have some good people on the weekend now, and I noticed that they're going to do coronation coverage. Now, of course, Fox is sending Martha McCallum. They always send her to England. That's her thing. And I'm going to watch the coronation because I might not get another chance to watch a king get coronated. I think it's kind of cool. I don't love Prince Charles. I think
Kathy,
he's kind of
if you and I
but
don't,
it'd still be pretty cool to see.
If you and I do not outlive Charles, we're in trouble. He's much older than
you never know. I hope to see William get coronated, but I didn't see the Queen or anything. My parents did, and they said it was pretty neat.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. President Trump has spoken out on some big stuff. I'm going to share that with you and a whole bunch more. We'll be right back. Are you tired of sifting through biased news stories? Are you looking for a news source free from personal opinions and obvious political bias? Look no further than NewsGPT.ai. NewsGPT.ai is the world's first news channel generated entirely by artificial intelligence. That's right, no reporters and no bias. The sole focus of NewsGPT.ai is to provide you with accurate and reliable news for free. Unlike other news sites, the stories on NewsGPT.ai are not influenced by advertisers, political affiliations, or personal opinions. Everything you see is generated by AI, ensuring that all stories are fact-based and unbiased. NewsGPT.ai is committed to delivering the news you need to know in a way that's easy to understand and free from any agenda. Stay informed with the top AI-generated stories delivered directly to your inbox. NewsGPT.ai. Real news by fake people. Are you tired of feeling stuck in a job with no potential for growth? Do you dream of earning more money and providing a better life for yourself and your family? If so, listen close. Find the solution you've been waiting for at qr1.be/8w3r. There you will find a revolutionary opportunity to earn extra income and achieve financial freedom. With a huge compensation plan and life-changing products, this opportunity offers 6 amazing ways that you can earn lots of money. Imagine living the life you've always dreamed of, traveling the world, buying that dream car, and providing for your family without worrying about finances. And here's the best part. There's no monthly membership fee, and you don't have to purchase products to participate. All the products are made right here in the USA with the purest and healthiest ingredients, offering unmatched quality at prices up to 75% off retail price. Don't wait any longer to change your life. Visit qr1.be/8w3r. That's qr1.be/8w3r and learn about this incredible opportunity to start making the money that you deserve. This is your chance to break free from the daily grind and achieve financial freedom. qr1.be/8w3r. qr1.be/8w3r. Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, national glory. This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So we're going to get to President Trump in just a bit because he made some really amazing and super cool comments earlier that I want to get to. Pretty amazing stuff. But this morning on the morning show, I had this conversation with a black caller who everything is a racial slight. Remember, the guy I was talking to?
Yeah.
And, what's happened in this society, I really do not like talking about racial issues. I know a lot of you guys don't either. I mean, I am of the opinion that we're in a post-racial society. We had a black man elected and reelected president of the United States. And what I said then, and I say now, is that if in the future, 100 years, 200 years from now, when someone writes a history of civil rights in America, right? Say they started it in 1619 when the first documented slave was brought here. The last page would be Barack Obama's second inauguration, okay? When this country that once had African slaves elected and reelected a black man as president. That's it. We finally are post-racial. And by the way, the United States was the first major nation to have a black leader. There have been black leaders of other nations, but not a first nation, right? United States, third world countries and things like that, not a major nation. A pretty big accomplishment. And now what we've seen in the last couple of years is a lot of racial division where everything from the left is racial. And libs of TikTok found a video that I'm going to share with you. You know, we all were raised on the 3 meals a day, right? 3 meals a day and proper nutrition. The 3 meals a day that we've all been raised with, and not just this country, but I think in Western civilization, at least most of it, that's a construct of white supremacy, apparently. Listen to this. The libs of TikTok found this. And you know what's crazy about this? Is these sick, twisted people believe this. Listen.
That the 3 meals a day thing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is from colonialism.
I've been waiting for this day continuously. If you don't know me, please go check out my page. I talk a lot about diet culture and its roots in white supremacy, racism, and just whiteness in the food system as a whole, and this person really articulated it well. And also, thank you for sharing this book. What is so amazing about that book and also what's being discussed in that video is it really articulates how whiteness has infiltrated the way that we view and address our hunger cues, because we are trying to adhere to very strict schedules that our bodies didn't, they were not created to immediately adhere to. Like, you don't come out the womb being like, I will only eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Society tells you only eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like, think about how many times people don't eat after dinner even though they're still hungry, because it's like, well, I can't eat after dinner, that'd be bad. Check out some more of my videos on this. Okay, bye.
Okay, so yeah.
That's just stupid.
It is.
I mean, that just shows you how stupid
it
this
is.
has become.
But everything in our society by the left is being turned into
anti-white.
Anti-white. Yeah. They use things like colonialism.
This
That's a code word.
tells you they're running out of things, because this is really makes no sense at all. I mean, they're really running out of things to make us look like bigots. Now they're hitting on the 3 meals a day. I don't get the connection.
It's insane. Now, I want to tell people, next weekend is Mother's Day, and there's still time to order great products from MyPillow.com for Mother's Day. And I just want to tell you about 2 right now. First one, and there's time to order these and have them delivered before Mother's Day. You can also have them sent directly to Mom. The best deal are the MyPillow 2.0s with cooling technology. They're buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, at MyPillow.com. Your head and face will never get warm or hot again at night. We have been sleeping on ours for a couple of months now. They are wonderful. They're buy one, get one free, which means you can either give Mom 2 or hold on to one of them. Give one to Mom on Mother's Day, hold the other one, and then on Father's Day, a month later, give it to Dad. Another great gift is the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0. We bought one for our guest bed for our daughter. She loved it. It's an upgrade on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. It has the cooling technology in it. And it's 40% off and free shipping with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, at MyPillow.com. These all make great Mother's Day gifts and Father's Day gifts. And these are gifts that Mom and Dad will love, appreciate, and have for years to come. Now, you can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, KANE, at checkout, not just the ones I highlight. I just highlight what I consider to be the best deals and the must-haves. But there are a lot of other things there, too, that are great for Mom or Dad. The bathrobes, the slippers, the pet beds. We have the pet beds for our dog, for our cat. There's just so many great things there. There's over 200 items, actually, and you can use our promo code KANE, KANE, for all the specials, all right? Don't forget Mom on her day. Okay, so President Trump is over in Scotland, and this E. Jean Carroll wackadoodle thing is going on. And he's over there on the golf course, and, of course, they're asking about E. Jean Carroll, and he goes off on it, President Trump. Let me play this for you. This is awesome. I love President Trump. I really do. And, when his second term is over, I really hope he builds his presidential museum near Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, I'm sure he will. It'll be in Palm Beach for sure.
Because, guys, when I'm an old man and retired, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a volunteer at President Trump's Presidential Museum, if it's here in Palm Beach County, near Mar-a-Lago, because I'll get to put my history degree at work. I'll be able to get a job volunteering at President Trump's Presidential Museum, and I would love to be a historian / tour guide of the place.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
And I know his whole history anyway.
Yeah.
It's like on the back of my hand here, the whole thing. And that's how I'm going to spend my retirement years, Kathy.
I think that sounds great.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be awesome, yep.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Could you see me doing that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be an old man. I'll be in a walker. I'll be a cane, a wheelchair, scooter, whatever. I'll be there.
I think that sounds great. I wonder when he's going to build it, though. He's not getting any younger.
Well, he's got to wait till his second term is over.
I know.
It's too soon if he's...
But do you think he's already planning it?
He knows what he wants to do.
It's going to be grand, for sure. I promise you, it'll be the grandest presidential library you've ever seen. And I've seen the Nixon library. I've seen one. But you've seen Nixon, Carter. You've seen a couple.
Yeah, you know what I would like him to do when he does this?
The Nixon one was pretty nice.
I hope he does it near Mar-a-Lago, and I think he will.
Yeah, I agree.
And Rush Limbaugh's radio studio was near Mar-a-Lago, and I might, I do a lot of vlogging up there. I might show you guys where Rush's radio studio was. I've never shown that on camera before. And I've not been by there in a long time. I might show that to you guys once on a vlog. But I'd love to see in President Trump's Presidential Museum have one exhibit that is Rush Limbaugh's EIB studio, the whole thing set up. They got that in storage.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
His widow just sold their house for $150 million.
And I think the buyers are going to tear it down and build something new there.
They are.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's crazy.
So anyway, President Trump, he's over in Scotland, and he's out on the golf course over there, and they start asking about this wackadoodle loon, E. Jean Carroll, and this is what he had to say.
You have to leave early. I don't have to, but I choose to.
Will you attend the trial, Mr. President?
I'll probably attend, and I think it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that it's allowed to happen. It's called false accusations against a rich guy, or in my case, against a famous, rich, and political person that's leading the polls by 40 points. And I have to go back for a woman that made a false accusation about me, and I have a judge who's extremely hostile. And I'm going to go back, and I'm going to confront this one. This woman is a disgrace, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen in our country.
This is so amazing because never before has there been a Republican like Trump who stands up and fights against these accusations, because he didn't do anything.
Exactly.
When he even doubled down on the grab them thing over there. He says, yes, that's how they are out there. He said, I give an example. When Bill Clinton was dealing with these accusations, when the Lewinsky thing became public, President Clinton did not have a press conference for like 2 years.
That's right.
He was president, and he didn't have a press conference.
Yeah.
And because he couldn't get in front of a microphone or camera with reporters because they'd ask about Lewinsky because he was guilty as sin. Trump is a completely innocent man, and he always comes out and talks about all these accusations. Now, I pulled up this clip I played a couple weeks ago of E. Jean Carroll on Anderson Cooper, and I don't usually play sound bites again. Once I play a sound bite, you usually never hear it again on the show. Very rarely do you hear it. But this one's important because E. Jean Carroll is being portrayed in the mainstream media as this credible accuser against President Trump. I saw someone on Twitter said that her story is ripped from a Law and Order episode I read today.
I believe it. Yeah, she's a lunatic.
Usually Law and Order does the ripping of the headlines. Now the headlines are getting ripped from Law and Order. They're crafting things. But this is when E. Jean Carroll...
I'd like to find that episode.
Yeah.
Seriously, because it's probably the same thing in a dressing room.
I'd like to find it.
Let's Google it.
Okay.
Try to find that episode. I'm sure it plays on Hulu or something.
Yeah, let's look for it. Let's look. Yeah. I love Law and Order anyway. So this is from about 2 weeks ago. E. Jean Carroll was on with Anderson Cooper, and she totally exonerated Trump, said he didn't rape her.
Yeah.
And then she tries to...
Well, remember, Stormy Daniels said it never happened, but they just ignore these things.
Stormy Daniels said she never had sex with Donald Trump.
Yeah. She came out and said it wasn't true.
So here is...
But they don't care about the truth.
Here is E. Jean Carroll with Anderson Cooper. This is about 2 weeks ago. totally clearing Trump, said it didn't happen.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
Wow. So here she is coming on to this gay man. And then she said she wasn't ravished. She wasn't thrown down. She wasn't raped.
Bizarre.
So, I mean, I don't understand why this is even in court.
It's just a really weird term she used, that she wasn't
What's that?
ravaged or whatever word.
So what is
really
she
strange.
What is she accusing him of then?
I don't know.
It doesn't.
She's obviously lying. She's a kook.
Exactly. And, this interview she did on CNN a couple weeks ago has been totally disappeared because they're trying to build up her credibility.
All these women are, like I've said, they're older than Trump, unattractive. I just don't believe them.
When has he ever been with an older woman?
Never.
No. Never. Always younger.
I just don't
Except
believe
this
it.
time because he had to have her.
But
then she said it didn't happen.
Women. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Now,
this is a civil trial. What's going to happen to that? I mean, is she suing him for money, damages? What's exactly she's suing for?
Who knows? Defamation.
Well, why isn't this a criminal trial?
She's suing him for defamation. Too long statute of limitations.
Okay.
Now,
I just thought it was like a lack of evidence.
Before we break, I want to share this story because this is new and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Billionaire Peter Thiel says he'll back Ron DeSantis.
Yep.
Now he's a Trump megadonor from 2020.
Yep.
And is Peter Thiel gay?
I think so. Yeah. Remember, he came out and gave that big speech in 2016 when Trump was running.
Yeah. So
he spoke at the Republican convention or something.
I don't understand why he is moving to DeSantis.
I don't either.
It doesn't really say.
DeSantis is really going after the gays.
There's one person that's working for DeSantis, maybe unofficially, I don't know, that's really confusing and disappointing to me is Jenna Ellis, the attorney. You go follow her on Twitter.
Interesting.
And not only that, she's attacking Trump's campaign. She's attacking Trump's. She was on Twitter today, Jenna Ellis, attacking Trump supporters, saying, "Oh, they're body shaming me and all of these things."
She's a kook. I don't know why DeSantis hired her. She's a kook.
I don't know why
That's a weird. I guess because he got wind of the fact that Trump has hired ex-DeSantis people, so now he wants to hire ex-Trump people and try to do that. But she's a nut. I wouldn't hire her.
It's very strange,
and she's not a very good lawyer.
No,
and she didn't get anything accomplished.
No, and here she is working for DeSantis. She spends all day on Twitter promoting Ron DeSantis. I might unfollow her on Twitter.
Well, he should be announcing very soon. They said by mid-May. He still has not signed that bill, which is very interesting. I think he's going to try to sign that, like, kind of sneak it in. You know what I mean? I think he's waiting for like a big news story to happen where he can kind of slide that under the radar.
Late at night.
Yeah.
On a weekend.
When there's a big story coming out that everybody's talking about. That's what he did with the other bill he signed.
The abortion bill.
Yeah, that was done really kind of sly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's waiting for, some big news event to happen. He can sign it late at night and just sneak it by and then announce, but I don't know. They had on Fox, before we boycotted Fox a couple weeks ago, they had that John Turley lawyer, and he was talking about how popular DeSantis was in Florida.
No, he's not.
And I'm thinking, this guy really doesn't know what's going on.
No, he's not.
But people outside of Florida must think he still is super popular.
He's not popular in Florida.
No.
He's not. But I haven't heard someone say Ron DeSantis is free Florida in like months now.
Did you see this new recruiter? They have recruitment video for the Navy.
Yeah, the transgendered.
It's drag queen.
Drag queen,
drag queen. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And the guy who shot bin Laden spoke out against it. And he said, I fought my country for this. He was like really freaking out. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how they think. I don't know. I don't get it. If you guys can explain it to me, how using a drag queen to recruit people into the military. I mean, this is something I never The liberals never cease to amaze me. This is something they really think this is going to help recruitment, or are they trying to stop people from joining up? Maybe that's the
what's going to happen
here.
with this drag queen recruitment thing they're doing? It's not just going to hurt recruitment; it's going to hurt retention. There will be a lot of people that don't re-up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what they're purposely trying to do. Maybe they're trying to lessen our military presence, and they think, I can't imagine they think this is a good thing unless they are so woke, like the girl
I wonder.
Bud Light.
I wonder,
just so out of touch.
And I bet they didn't. I bet you the Navy never used the Village People song in the Navy because the Village People are, it's a gay thing. It's the Village in New York is where it comes from. They're known as a gay
Greenwich
group.
Village. Where what's his face? Shepard Smith lives.
Yeah, and probably Don Lemon too.
Yeah.
They're all there. But I bet you that the Navy never used in the Navy by the Village People. Everybody loves the Village People because they're known as gay. But now they got this thing going on. It's really embarrassing.
Well, maybe they're using it now.
It's really embarrassing. I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much. And those of you that are new Patreon supporters, thank you and welcome. And don't forget, Patreon supporters, you have access to commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode on the Patreon page. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on the program. The names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters, and we got a couple new names to add there at the end. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Arctic Fox, and our two new top Patreon supporters, David and Richard. Welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, and if you would like to become a patron of the program, there's a link in the episode description. There's a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And the website address, if you just want to go directly there, is patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. Patreon.com/realbriancraigshow. We'll be right back.
ChatGPT. Everyone's talking about it, but did you know that you can make money using ChatGPT? Get ready to make money easily and quickly using ChatGPT. With your copy of the must-read book, The ChatGPT Millionaire, making money online has never been this easy. Updated for GPT-4 from author Neil Dagger. This is the ultimate guide to creating passive income, writing engaging content, and finishing client projects in just minutes. With over 150 act-as prompts, you can use ChatGPT for whatever you need. Social media content, blog post, video scripts, software apps. The uses are endless. Order your copy right now on Amazon and get a free ChatGPT prompt cheat sheet and no-nonsense guide on how to build wealth. Start your journey to financial freedom and order your copy of The ChatGPT Millionaire from author Neil Dagger on Amazon. Do you ever feel like you've lost your way? Like you're adrift and you just can't find your bearings? Let Annie Harrison's journey inspire you. In Beyond the Sea, Annie's Journey into the Extraordinary from author Nina Perti. Annie set sail on her grandfather's luxurious and magnificent yacht to travel the world and restore her sense of direction. She meets two charming suitors, a Spanish matador and a Moroccan businessman. Her talent for blending architectural style with history is only enhanced by the fascinating places she visits. But when Annie's father reappears after missing for 2 years and the British Secret Service gets involved, she realizes she may be in over her head. With thrilling plot twist and a cast of memorable characters, Beyond the Sea is a captivating novel that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Order your copy of Beyond the Sea, Annie's Journey into the Extraordinary from author Nina Perti. Available right now on Amazon, iTunes, and Google Play. This book is perfect for book clubs. Order your copy right now. Are you ready to elevate your living space with style and comfort? Look no further than nybusiness.store. nybusiness.store is committed to providing top quality products for your home, both indoors and out. Check out their fantastic selection of outdoor chairs, tables, and benches, as well as non-slip rugs, stylish curtains, bed sheets, pillow shams, and doormats. Make sure you don't miss out on their amazing swivel patio chairs, stackable patio chairs, outdoor sectional footrest, and picture frames, and the friendly friendly, knowledgeable team at nybusiness.store is ready to assist you with any questions you have. Visit nybusiness.store and add a touch of elegance to your home. Be stylish. Be their customer. nybusiness.store, your destination for high-quality home products.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Big update on Bud Light. We're going to get to in a minute. And, I want to give everyone a quick update on the MAGA scooter. The MAGA scooter, we are going to donate it to charity.
The first MAGA, the original MAGA scooter.
Yeah, not the MAGA scooter 2.0.
No.
The MAGA scooter 2.0, I'm going to debut. I want to make a YouTube video this weekend if I can, and if the weather's nice. If not this weekend, another weekend.
Yeah.
Next weekend, I'm going to be out of town. But I'm going to try to make one this weekend. The MAGA scooter 2.0 is amazing, but the MAGA scooter, the original MAGA scooter, I have been trying to sell. I have sold many vehicles privately, cars. I've sold cars and trucks privately that I've had over the years, and those are major purchases. I've never done a private sale of something that's inexpensive, like a motor scooter, and it's a whole nother process. And in Florida, until the new owner gets the title, it's still your vehicle. Even if you sign the title over anything, until they get the new title, file for it and get it, it's still your vehicle. You're responsible for it. And I've gotten a lot of calls from people for the MAGA scooter that want to buy it and want to pay my asking price. I had 3 calls today that wanted my asking price. And they're all so weird and scary that I'm not selling it to them. Right. And I'm not selling it. So there's 2 reasons why. The first guy, I just felt like he was setting me up to rob me. This guy, he called me early this morning when I was on the air and left a message. So I called him when I got off the air this morning, and he talked kind of funny, and he's like, "Hey, is that nice retro scooter still available?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "How would you like to have 15 fresh, crisp $100 bills?"
That is
because I'm selling it for $1,500. Is the asking price.
Were.
That's the asking price, $1,500. And I could hardly not laugh. His voice was very raspy too. And I said, "Well, that's what I'm asking for it." And then he gave me a location to meet him, which was in a very strange industrial area.
Yeah, no, that's
and I said to him,
a lot of people get robbed off.
Yeah, I just felt this was so strange. So this guy, I said to him, well, there's an auto tag agency that I'll meet you at, and we'll do the paperwork there. And then, I can't go there, but I got the $1,100. And I was like, okay. I
pass. On to the next.
I felt like he was trying to bait me.
Yeah, of course.
Into getting, Then this other guy, I got calls from a few people today, but this other guy, he called me, and he lives about, I would say, 25 miles from where we live, okay? And he has no transportation. So he wants to take a city. First, he asked me if I would ride it to him. He lives like 25 or 30 miles away. I said no. I said I'm getting a lot of calls. People want to buy this scooter, and then I got to get back, right? Yeah. If I drive it to you. And he's like, "Well, it won't make it here." I said, "Oh, it'll make it there and back, but I'm not going to drive it down there. You got to come." And I gave him the tag agency thing and everything else. So he tells me he's going to take a bus. He's going to take a city bus 25 miles and then ride it back.
Oh, my goodness.
And I told him, I said, "Okay, but you can't ride it back until we do the title transfer and you get the new tag and title, right, at the tag agency." So then he asked me if I would take some money off of it. He says, "Well, would you take off $100? And I said, Let me think about it. And the guy's kind of freaking me out. And I said, I'll call you back. Let me think about it. I'll call you back. I said, a lot of people are calling me. They're giving me the asking price. And he's like, well, I really need it. And then he started calling me back and texting me. Like, and this is all within like 3 minutes. Like, I get off the phone with him and I'm in the car. This is after I got off the air today. And he's texting me and he's calling me. And then he starts telling me it's his granddaughter. It's for his granddaughter. And she needs it to get to school on. And he's getting kind of weird. And I told you, Kat, I said, I'm not going to meet this. I'm not going to meet this guy. There's just no way I'm going to meet this guy. Yeah. And he's not going to do the title transfer. He's not going to do anything. He's going to, and all this stuff. And then he called me back again and he asked me if I could throw in a helmet. And I said, well, no, I need my helmet. Because I have a new scooter. I need the helmet. And the helmets are not inexpensive, by the way. Right. So I said, no. And he's like, well, how can I ride it back without the helmet? And I said, you got to figure that out. You don't have to wear helmets in Florida, by the way, although I do, and I recommend you do. So then he text messages me a picture of 15 $100 bills lined up on a blanket.
That's really sketchy.
And God. This is all this morning.
Where did you get that from the internet?
I don't know. Exactly. And he's like, doesn't this look good? Doesn't this look good?
God. Brian's been agonizing over this for a month, what to do. So I took the bull by the horns myself today because I'm so sick of hearing about this.
I know.
I went online on my phone and I contacted a charity called Wishes for Wheels or Wheels for Wishes.
We got to make sure they don't support like Planned Parenthood or something.
No,
we got to find out.
And I filled out a form. It literally took 2 minutes. And they're going to contact me within 2 days and come and tow it.
I got to make sure they're not a liberal charity, though.
Yeah, they take it off our hands, and we're going to donate it to them. And I said, just donate the damn thing. Yeah. It's not worth the $1,500. I mean, I'd like the money, but it's not worth you getting yourself in a sticky situation.
You know what it is? Okay, this is the thing.
You've had that a year and a half. You got everything out of it. You're going to get out of it. I don't mind.
Okay, I had 3 people today that wanted to buy it for the asking price. Okay.
That's sketchy enough right there.
Yeah, isn't it? They
didn't even try to negotiate.
And they're all trying to impress me with $100 bills.
You always try to negotiate when you buy a vehicle. You always try to get the price down.
I've sold many cars over the years. I've never had something like this happen. And none of them had transportation. None of them.
Yeah, that's weird.
One guy wanted me to come to his house.
Oh, my goodness.
One guy wanted me to meet him in this bizarre industrial neighborhood.
This is a bad scene.
This other guy. And all the people are sketchy, and I can't trust them to get the new title. And if they get in trouble with the car after I sign it over to, or the scooter. See, if it's a car, they're going to go out and get the titles and insurance, and they're going to do everything. But with the scooter, they're a little more the people are a little more sketch.
Well, plus you had also called the tag agency, and they told you you'd have to go to the DMV.
Yes.
And I said, well, there's no way in hell you're going to go to the DMV with these people.
And wait in line with them for like 2 hours, 3-4 hours?
That's when I said, we're donating it. I'm tired of this crap. This is over. And there's just no easy way around it. We tried to give it away to somebody in my family who scoffed.
They have no job or car.
We asked around. Nobody that we know wanted it. They all have cars, except for this one person who has nothing, but whatever. So, what can you do? So I said, donate it to charity. We'll get a tax write-off and they'll sell it and have money for their charity.
The guy with the picture of the hundreds, he just upped the offer. He's now offering me $1,600. He's offering me above the asking price.
Just ignore him. Look
at that picture, Kathy.
I mean, you already told him you sold it.
I told him I sold. I to get him off my back. Yeah. I said somebody offered me $2,500. I sold it to them because I just had to get the guy off my back.
Block his number.
Look at that picture he sent me of the $100 bills on a blanket on his bed. Is that strange or what?
That is
weird. So weird.
That's really weird. I want to talk about this thing with this Marine real quick that you talked about this morning. Boy, you had the audience all upset.
You're talking about on the subway in New York?
Yeah, the audience all upset this morning. And one person in there has a son who's a Marine, and she's a friend of mine.
My dad's a Marine.
Yeah, she left the chat. She was pissed off at you. Here's the deal, and I respect that, okay? I'm not making fun of her or anybody. There were a lot of people upset at you in the chat, and that's their right to be. I mean, everybody has their own perspective. Like you said, your dad's a Marine. I don't know anybody my stepfather's a Marine. So everybody knows a Marine. Here's the deal with this whole situation. And this is how I feel about it. I agree with Brian on this. When you are a Marine, especially, you are a trained killer. They train you how to kill people in combat if you don't have a weapon, like if you get disarmed, they train you how to kill somebody.
Yeah.
With your hands. And a chokehold is a very common means of killing somebody. If you get them from behind, that Marines are taught, or other people in the military, because they can get in a situation where they have no weapon, they get disarmed, and they have to defend themselves. They have to learn how to do it. And a chokehold is one way. They know a chokehold can kill someone. I'm not saying this guy did this on purpose. I don't think he did. I think he had good intentions, but I think there could have been another way to handle this. And the way he was laying, he was on the ground, and he got involved, which I'm not knocking him for that. He felt the need to intervene and be a good citizen, and that's a good thing. But when he had the guy in the chokehold, the guy was lying on top of him. Okay, the Marine was on the ground, and then the guy he had in the chokehold was lying on top of him, and he had his arm around his neck. So the guy went unconscious first. That's what happens when you're in a chokehold, is you will go unconscious first. When that happens, your body goes limp. Okay, when you pass out or something, your body will go limp. And if somebody's on top of you, they can feel that. Your body isn't tense. You stop fighting and you just go limp. That's when he should have let go and released him from the chokehold. This is what I don't understand. But he continued to hold him in a chokehold even after he went unconscious. That's where he made a fatal mistake. That's when he should have released him immediately and said, okay, I subdued him. That's it. But he continued to hold him. And the guy stopped struggling. Once
Kathy,
he stopped struggling, you let go.
Here's the thing.
And that's where he made a mistake. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
It was excessive force. Excessive force.
There are two different types of chokeholds, okay?
Yeah.
Police officers are taught a style of chokehold that they use that causes someone to go to sleep, to pass out. Marines are taught a chokehold to use in combat to kill.
Right.
Soldiers, Marines, because Marines aren't soldiers, are trained to kill. They're not trained to subdue. Unless they're a military policeman, they get the other training. They get some police training. It was excessive force. I know based on everything we see, I would say for sure that the Marine had good intentions, probably.
Yeah.
I would not question that unless some evidence comes out. But it got excessive. He did not mean to kill the guy, probably. But that doesn't mean that you can get away with killing somebody if you don't mean to kill someone.
There's people that yell and scream on the subway all the time. I just saw a video of another woman doing it on the subway, running up and down the subway, yelling at people. It's an everyday occurrence in that city now. It's the mayor's fault for not doing something about it. But you can't be a vigilante, and unless your life is in danger, or if the guy had a knife or a gun, that's different. But the guy did not have a weapon. And you had talked about it too. Those two guys in Paris, there was a guy on a train that had a
Muslim
bomb,
terrorist,
had a bomb, and they subdued him and stopped him. They didn't kill him, but they were able to subdue him and overpower him without killing him. And he got arrested. And they made a movie about those guys.
The shoe bomber was stopped by passengers.
Exactly. This was excessive force. He went over the line.
There were some people. There were some people in the live chat that were upset with me.
Very upset.
I take live calls.
I mean, they left the chat. They were so pissed at you.
And don't be a snowflake, okay? Guys, you can call me up on the show live and call me out on the carpet at any time. You don't have to go off like some liberal.
Yeah. And it's okay to disagree.
And leave. You can confront me on the air and if listen, maybe I'm wrong and you'll bring up some things and I'll say, you know what, I didn't consider that. That's happened before, okay?
Right, yeah.
And I say, you know what, I didn't consider that. You're right. And, so you don't have to run and leave. You can call me up and we can have a discussion. It's okay to disagree.
But I don't agree with AOC. I wouldn't call the guy a murderer. I mean, you can't get a fair trial in this country when you have politicians commenting on cases. And
if it's
that's
a crime,
hyperbole to use that.
If it's a crime, it's manslaughter.
Right. Well, has he been arrested, or they
picked him up and released him?
Okay, they've arrested him.
Nah, I don't know
because they determined he was that it was a homicide. That he was
the medical examiner.
The medical examiner. That's how he died by asphyxiation. It was a homicide. They ruled it.
But a homicide,
he's going to get arrested.
A homicide doesn't mean that you committed murder. A homicide is a descriptor for the death. But Bragg's got to decide if he's going to charge him. Based on what we know now, it looks like a manslaughter case. And I'm sorry, Bragg's a creep and a lowlife.
I'm sure he will charge him.
And everything else. And it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
But just because someone is a veteran doesn't mean they get a free pass. People can, there have been many instances where the prisons are filled with people that committed manslaughter. They didn't mean to kill someone, but they did. So that it's a sad thing. I don't want the Marine to go to jail. Maybe something will come out and things will change. I know that they're probably, when the toxicology comes out, I'm sure this guy had drugs in his system. I mean, he's like a homeless lunatic in New York City. But the witnesses have said that he wasn't threatening anyone's life.
Well, that is gonna weigh heavily on this case, depending on what the witnesses have said, and if anybody there felt threatened or their life was threatened, that can alter what they decide to do. But if all of them come forward and say, no, the guy wasn't really, he was just yelling a little bit, but it wasn't that big of a deal. You know, then the Marine's in trouble.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to be a good citizen and protect people, and that we should step up and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be like Charles Bronson here.
Yep. Listen, we're out of time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you next time.